Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gambling Parlor here on Dead Money Sports for the Thursday Night Football Watch Party and Week 10 Circa Lines release show. I'm your host, Jesse. How's everybody doing out there? Getting ready for the kickoff of this AFC West matchup between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Denver Broncos. And we've got some action on this game for this week. Our standalone bet on the side or total is the over 42.5. I expect some points. I think the Broncos are certainly going to put some points on the board, and I think the Raiders will do just enough to help us get over this number. We've also got some same game parlays for this game. The first one is a plus 390 3-play, and it's Bo Nix plus 2.5 touchdown passes. Franklin over 4.5 receiving yards, and Austin Genty Franklin over 4.5 receptions, and Genty over 2.5 receptions. Those three combined are plus 390. And then our long shot parlay is the over 42.5, which is also tied to our main bet. We've got Trey Tucker, anytime touchdown score at plus 310. RJ Harvey, anytime touchdown score at plus 220. Hopefully we can get it done this week and cash these bets. We cashed the single bet last Thursday night with the total. So let's see if we can do that again. But we want to hit one of these nice parlays and roll on into our weekend action with a pocket full of coin that we can use to bet on some pretty good. There's some pretty good college football games that we'll be watching this Saturday, and we'll have the Circa Line Selection Show, the Selection Show on Saturday at 6 p.m. right here on YouTube. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live or when any of the videos drop. But all right, we've got the game started. Was no return on the kickoff, so we're starting at 15 minutes. Raiders have the ball in the first possession. The Raiders are 8.5-point dogs on the road here after that Monday night game where they lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars in overtime on a failed two-point conversion, which, again, I don't blame them for going for it, but Geno Smith has not been good in the red zone passing since he was with Seattle. So it was a tough spot for him to try to get that done. But we're going to need him to do something for us. We're going to need some points and obviously a Trey Tucker touchdown somewhere in there. This Broncos defense is really good. I mean, we saw what they did against the Texans, even though they got not a great offensive line with Davis Mills coming in that game last week for us. That wasn't great. But let's do a quick recap before we get into the Week 10 Circa lines of the results of the second quarter, and one of the people I've been following for a while cashed in the quarterly. Potato Commish, congratulations. There was first down. There was 3 entries that tied for first place with 21. They went 21-4 in that 5-week second quarter. Hell of a run. And each one of them was walking away with $83,333.35. And then we've got 4 entries that tied for the remaining winnings, and they're each getting $6,250. So they made back their money, and they're playing with house money for the remainder of the season. And after going 20-5, most of these people are sitting good as far as the overall full season. Last week now we also got the full season records here. Potato Commish is obviously in first place, and he's well ahead by 3 points right now at 35. He's the only one, and then there's a few people tied at 32 and 13. So we need to step it up. Last week we had 2 really tough losses with the the Texans when they lost their quarterback, and the Chargers giving up a pick six and a punt return for a touchdown, and then not covering the spread by a point and a half when they gave up a field goal at the end of the game, up 10 points. So that was tough. We ended up 2-3, 14-11 in the second quarter. We're 25-20 right now. So we need to really step it up to get up into that paid positions. And this is also the start of the third quarter. So if we could put together a 5-0 week to start it off, even a 4-1, but 5-0 would be outstanding. So really need to be on our best selections this week to keep ourselves in the fight for the overall season total, or season payouts, full season payouts there. But then the Circa Survivor, the big loser was the Packers, losing obviously to the Carolina Panthers at home on a last second field goal, knocking out 264 entries. That was overwhelmingly the biggest loser of that week. Remaining entries, 1,769. The implied value of each entry now at over $10,000, $1,000 entry. So certainly increased their potential for if they wanted to sell an entry. The Lions also lost, obviously, to the Vikings. Cowboys lost against the Cardinals, and the Texans, there was only one entry, but they lost to Denver. That rounds out the Circa Survivor casualties for Week 9. Again, only 1,769 remaining entries after it started with 18,600 plus to start out the year. The Grandissimo lost 2 as well, with the Packers going down in dramatic fashion against that Carolina Panthers team. So there's only 11 remaining entries in this contest. This is the $100,000 buy-in. Winner takes all. $6.9 million to the winner. There were 69 entries to start out the year. 11 remaining. 8 on the Chargers. There was 3 on the Chargers, 8 on the Rams last week, and then the 2 Packers losses. So 11 remaining. Can't wait to see who they pick this week, because we've got some tight lines to choose from. Some interesting matchups, some ugly matchups this week too. But now, what do we got here? Where's our file? Interesting. That was strange. There we go. So here we are. We've got the Circa lines for Week 10. The Broncos were minus 8.5 at home for Thursday Night Football. Typically, I don't use Thursday Night Football. I've only used them once this year, because you have to submit all 5 of your picks at once. And, I want to try to get as much information as I can before I make my final decisions, especially going into the third quarter. Really need to step it up. This is important. We're 5 points off our pace. We needed to be at 30. We're at 25. So we need a 5-0, 4-1 week. We really need 2 strong weeks in a row just to get right back on pace. Uh-oh. Down goes Geno. Another sack on third down. Damn. Need points from them, but you know what? We got plenty of time. It's over 42.5. And Tyler Lockett already with 2 receptions. I thought about Tyler Lockett too. His total was over 2.5. He's already got 2 on the first drive. But next up is the Falcons at the Colts. This is the international game taking place in Germany. Obviously, as a Falcons fan, I have used them 4 times this year. We're 3-1. I wanted to use them last week, but I just was too chicken shit and didn't use them. And they didn't win, but covered the spread. There's a couple of games like that last week, which is not normal. Most teams that win also cover. Remember that. But we've got the Falcons plus 6.5 in Berlin, taking on the Colts. The Colts just added Sauce Gardner to their defense at the trade deadline. They lost last week to the Steelers, but they had, I think, 6 turnovers in that game. So just, you can't win. You're not going to win when you turn the ball over like that. Falcons created some turnovers against New England, but their field goal kicker once again let them down on an extra point that would have tied the game. He's gone. So now you're not only are you going on an international trip, they just brought in a new kicker. So we'll have to see how that goes. This game I want nothing to do with because you should take the Falcons in the points here, but they've been so up and down that who knows what they're going to get. And this Lou Anarumo defense could really put the clamps down. If they can take away Drake London in the passing game, and I don't know if they'll be able to run the ball on this pretty good defensive front for the Colts, that Bijan Robinson might not have a big game. This game could get out of hand. The Colts could easily win this game by more than the 6.5. So I have no opinion on that one way or the other. The total's 48.5 on that game. I don't know. It seems just about right. So I wouldn't want to get involved with it. Browns and Jets. This is another one of these games that flipped. When the lines were first out for the betting market, the Browns were plus 2.5. And I had originally written them down as one of the teams that I liked a lot in my first thoughts of top 5. But now the line is completely shifted, and now they're minus 2.5 because of the trades that the Jets have made. Even though the Jets did win their first game the other week, it's completely flipped. 5 points. I mean, are Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams really worth that much to the Jets? I don't think so. But I'm not willing to get in front of this Browns defense now because I like the Browns defense. You don't know what you're going to get from the offense, and you don't know what you're going to get from the Jets. Are they tanking? Are they trying to get the first pick? Like, they've basically given away some of their best players on defense, at least. They didn't trade Breece Hall. Now they've benched Quincy Williams, their linebacker. I just don't know what's the morale going to be like in this Jets locker room. How motivated are they going to be to really give a full effort in this game? And I think the Browns are going to actually come out ready to play. So I don't want to. If you like the Browns, I would say go for it. But this is just without all these moving pieces and all the unknowns that are now going to factor into this game, it's really hard to have an opinion one way or the other. So I'm not really going to – I don't think I'm going to have anything to do with this Browns team now. I wanted to go with them, like I said earlier, but, I mean, now the line's moving against them, and the total's only 37.5 in this game. So not expecting a lot of points. This is going to be a low-scoring game. Jets have a pretty good kicker. I mean, that could be all the difference in this game. Justin Fields' mobility maybe, but, who knows? Who knows? Some horrible games this week to have to try to handicap. Another one, Saints at the Panthers. Panthers with a huge win on the road in Lambeau. Now they're at home where they've been a better team, actually, taking on a Saints team that has also given up a bunch of their key players. Their offensive line has either been ravaged by injuries or trades, and they've given away their second best receiver in Rashid Shaheed. Alvin Kamara has not been a very good running back all year. They lost Miller. Their defense has played solid, but, how many punts, how long can they be on the field against this Carolina Panthers offensive line being manhandled before they finally just throw in the towel and say, you know what, I'm not going to get injured. I'm going to play and make it look like I'm doing my thing, but they end up not giving a full they don't end up giving a full 4-quarter effort. So I don't know. I would like to take the Panthers minus the 5.5. I know that they haven't covered a game as a favorite in forever, but at some point that's got to come to an end, right? I know this is a divisional matchup, but when you pick the team that wins, more times than not, you're going to pick the team that also covers the spread. I think the Carolina Panthers are going to win this game, so I like the Carolina Panthers minus the 5.5. If you could get it in the betting market at under 5.5, like maybe around 5, I would take that. But I like that the fact that you don't have to cover by the full touchdown. Oh, he shanked that. Wow, they're gonna get a great starting position for the Raiders. They're inside the 45-yard line of the Broncos. The Broncos got stopped on 3rd and short there in their own red zone, back in the shadow of their own goalpost, and then the punter just shanked it. So the Raiders are going to get great field position here, man. We need that Trey Tucker touchdown. Need it. Because I don't know how many points this Raiders team is going to actually score. So they really need to take advantage of this field position. We need points here. Halfway through the first quarter, we haven't scored yet. Oof. Man, he just got blasted. Bills and Dolphins. I mean, boy. What are you going to say here? We know the Bills usually play tight games in Miami against the Dolphins, right? Division rivals on the road. They stick you in the sun. It's a afternoon game, so it's going to be as hot as it can be on a November day in Miami. This Bills offense has been super efficient. They also looked really good in the national game against the Chiefs last week. Is that enough to lay 9.5 against a Miami Dolphins team that's trading away players, not playing well? Tua's been turning the ball over. The defense has been a sieve. What do we know about Buffalo? Normally when they win a game, they win by margin, but this has not been that Buffalo Bills team this year. So this is a difficult one. The total for this game is pretty high at 50 points. So is that going to be all Buffalo? Or do they also expect Miami to contribute some points in this game? I think what they're telling you is you need to take Miami in the points and hold your nose, because it's going to be a stinky game. I mean, they hung tight with them on the Thursday night football game a few weeks ago, and that was in Buffalo. That's a hostile place to play. Now they got them coming down to Miami. They just won that big game against the Kansas City Chiefs, so you know they're feeling really good about themselves, because the Buffalo Bills team is built to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So that's like their in-season Super Bowl. Are we going to get the same effort from them again this week? I don't know, but this really feels like the hold your nose, because this is going to smell game of the week. Give me the Dolphins plus the points. Give me the Dolphins plus the points. Hope that Tua doesn't throw 3 interceptions or 2 interceptions and a fumble. Jags and Texans. This is a game I'm really interested in. I've got this in the 5 that I may use. I like Houston plus the 1.5 here. Now, this is Davis Mills. He did not look very good last week, which is part of the reason why I think the line shifted so much in the direction of the Jaguars when he was announced as a quarterback that C.J. Stroud was going to be out with a concussion. But you got to look who they were playing. I mean, they were playing the Denver Broncos, one of the premier defenses in the NFL, especially when it comes to rushing the passer, and that's exactly what they did. They got after him. They really put a lot of pressure on him. I don't think he was prepared to be in that game. Now he's got a week to prepare. Obviously, this Texans defense is, in my opinion, the best defense in the NFL right now. And they're going up against a Jags team that just gave up 40 points to the Raiders last week. You know, a Raiders team that hasn't done shit, that got shut out by the Kansas City Chiefs. And now they're missing Travis Hunter. They brought in Ja'Cory Myers. But Brian Thomas, he left the game early. He's banged up. He's had drop problems all year. So what are you really going to get against this Texans defense? They can stop the run. I don't think they're going to have much success running the ball, the Jags, that is. And I think that the pressure of Anderson and Hunter rushing the passer against Trevor Lawrence, because he's already inaccurate as is, could put the pressure on him and cause him to maybe commit a turnover or two. So I think it's going to be the Texans and Davis Mills in this passing game for the Texans, having just enough to get it done at home after that tough loss last week against the Broncos, where they were backed up on offense almost every time. So the offensive coordinator wasn't willing to take risks with Davis Mills throwing the ball, and it kept giving the Broncos better and better field position, and they eventually just wore down that defense. I don't think that's going to happen this week. And also the betting public's been all over the Jags because of the Davis Mills starting, and I don't think it's as bad of a Genty with the touchdown. We got our first point of the game. Would have liked it to have been Trey Turner, but you can't get them all on the first try. But so yeah, I am very much leaning towards using this Houston team as one of my 5 selections this week in the Circa Millions contest. We got to see where this line goes, but I'm pretty much certain that I'm going to use it. All right. Ravens and Vikings. This number has me scratching my head because we know that the Vikings still have a rookie quarterback. Yes, they beat the Lions last week, but the Lions' offensive line has been banged up. Their defensive secondary has been banged up. The Lions were due for a game like that. They had been regressing in the running game the last couple of weeks since they suffered their injuries along the offensive line, and that just reared its head with the defensive scheme that Flores ended up coming up with, and it worked. They created turnovers. They got Jared Goff uncomfortable, and that's when he makes mistakes. So why is this line only -3.5? I mean, we saw what the Ravens did against Miami on Thursday Night Football with this, with Lamar Jackson being back from injury. So this is a very fishy line to me. Flores, when he played for when he was the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, actually had a game plan against Lamar where he blitzed him and just completely flustered Lamar Jackson. I think they sacked him like 5 times or 6 times or something like that. He really had a good game plan against how to face Lamar Jackson. So is that why this line is so short? Do they think that this Vikings defense is going to be able to contain Lamar Jackson just like Flores' defense did when he was with the Miami Dolphins? I do think that's a possibility, and I think that's why we've seen this line move from -4.5 to -3.5 today. And I'm off Baltimore. I was originally on them as one of my 5, but the more I look into the relationship between Flores as a defensive coordinator and what he's been able to do against this Lamar Jackson offense, the more I have my concerns. And they say a team's never as good as their best game, never as bad as their worst game. Well, last week was probably the Ravens' best game. It was probably also the Vikings' best game. But J.J. McCarthy didn't have the best passing game. It really had a lot more to do with the Vikings' defense. I think that could be a real factor in this game. That hook could very well come into play where this game is decided by 3 points for the Ravens and you end up eating it because you got -3.5. So as of right now, I'm off of the Baltimore Ravens, but I'm also not so quick to jump on the Vikings side either. I would have preferred to have it at the 4.5 if I could have. Patriots at the Bucks. Everybody's on the Bucks right now. Everybody's trying to fade the Patriots. All the betting is coming in on the Bucks right now, which is surprising. But they're coming off the bye. Obviously, they were playing well. They had a losing streak before they went on the bye. I believe Baker Mayfield was just really banged up. He had that opportunity to get some rest during the bye, so they could be, he could be in a better shape coming into this game. But, with this -2.5 fishing line again, the infamous -2.5 that everybody loves to take so much. Could the Patriots come in and shock this Bucks team? Why not? I mean, they're playing really good football right now. Drake May's playing well. I mean, I think this Bucks defense has an opportunity to keep them in this game, but I don't know exactly what you're going to get from the Buccaneers offense. Are they going to be able to throw the ball against this Patriots defense? Is Gonzalez playing for New England? They've been good against the run. Bucky Irving and Godwin are both still out for the Bucks. So outside of Igabuke, you're still going with Sterling and Tez Johnson. Cade Otton at tight end, he's good. But what are you going to get from this Bucks team coming off the bye? And everybody is trying to take it. They're trying to take the Bucks just to be contrarian and fade New England. And I don't know if that's the right side or not. So I'm not sure about this one, because everything says you should take the Bucks, right? But it's that fishy -2.5 line that tells you that they're trying to get you to take Tampa Bay, and everybody's looking for that spot to fade New England. And we've seen Mike Vrabel as a head coach when he was with the Tennessee Titans. He's covered like 9 or 10 games in a row when he was with the Titans. Like sometimes his team just gets on a roll, man, and they just cover the spread and cover the spread. Oh, man, the Broncos aren't looking very hot right now. I am really glad I did not lay the 8.5 with the Broncos in this game as one of my 5, because I thought about it for a minute, because there's some trends about the outcome of the last week's games for these two teams that say the Broncos are the right side. But I think that's why this line was so inflated, because we've seen these Thursday night games with these big lines. They don't make no sense, because neither one of these teams has very much prep time for their game planning. The Raiders are going to have another good field position right at their own penalty on them, and might be coming back. But yeah, so I mean, I could see taking the Patriots and just fading this Bucks, who are so popular with the betting public right now. Next up is the Giants taking on the Bears. Giants are +4.5. The Bears with that dramatic win and cover. If the Bengals could just make a tackle at the end of that game against Loveland, they kick the field goal. The Bears either win or lose, but either way, the Bengals +3 bettors end up getting that cover. And that was one that I'm glad I didn't actually play last week, because it was in my possible plays, and I would have been so upset with the way that game ended. I mean, not that the Chargers and Texans was much better, but to lose in that fashion, where you think, okay, even if they lose the game, we're going to backdoor this thing and still get the cover, and then he breaks one out. It was almost like the Rams and Eagles game, where, all right, you block the field goal, that's one thing, but for you to return it for a touchdown and actually cover the spread is a whole big swing on the results for that game. So now the Bears are -4.5 at home, taking on the New York Giants. The Giants lost at home against the 49ers. We were on the 49ers. That was one of our 2 wins, along with Seattle. NFC West getting it done for us last week. Should have went with the Cardinals. I had all 4 NFC West teams in one of my lineups. That would have been great, because they all covered. But now we've got them taking on the Bears on the road. And I'm liking the Giants with this right now. A lot of people are fading New York because of last week's results, but that was against a really good 49ers offense and a defense that, they played well. The Giants had their opportunities in that game. And Jackson Dart has actually been good at not turning the ball over. And if he can protect the ball, they have a chance to be in these games. I need to see the injuries for the Giants defense, particularly their secondary, because that was the secondary injuries and the defensive injuries for the Giants were the real reason last week why I liked the 49ers, because I didn't think they were going to be able to stop the running game and the Kittle for the 49ers. We also need to keep an eye on the Bears injuries, because it looks like a couple of their guys on offense are at least banged up. They'll probably play. Moore and Odunze were both on the injury report last week, and they ended up playing. Swift is back, and so is Monangai, the rookie that played so well while he was out. But this defense has also been, if they're not getting turnovers, they're really, look how many points they gave up to the Bengals. Yes, the Bengals have good wide receivers, but they don't have a running game, and they don't have an offensive line. They don't have a mobile quarterback. So Jackson Dart's mobility could certainly give the Bears fits in this game. So I am leaning the Giants plus 4.5 as one of my 5 selections for the Circa Millions for Week 10. I am waiting on the injury news for the Giants, though, so that's a big deal. I could potentially swap them out with the Patriots. I want to see where the betting market is on the Bucs. But if everybody is overwhelmingly taking Tampa Bay, I might just have to go with New England just out of contrarian reasons. Not only that, as a Falcons fan, I'd like to see them lose. All right, there we go. There's one reception by Genty. Nice. That's what I was hoping for, too, is some of those like dump off receptions to Genty, the little check downs or whatever. Hopefully that'll help us get to over 3. We need Bo Nix to step it up, though. I got him at two or more touchdown passes. And though they are the best team in the fourth quarter, look at this run by Genty. Oh, no. They're going to call holding on the Raiders. That's going to ruin that great run. Oh, on the receiver, too. That's terrible. Probably didn't even affect the actual play. But so right now, like I said, I'm kind of leaning Giants. We'll have to check on the injury reports on Saturday, though, to see what their secondary is going to look like. Let's see what their entire defense is going to look like. Again, we could end up certainly swapping them out. Another team that's popular that I'm looking at, Arizona Cardinals, plus 6.5 against the Seahawks. Arizona's made the switch to Jacoby, although they are saying that Kyler Murray's got the Liz Frank injury that's cracking his foot, which is very difficult to heal because every time you step, that crack in your foot ends up separating and it doesn't heal. It takes forever, and you don't get good blood flow to your foot. So that also takes forever to heal. So there may be some truth to the injury, but the Cardinals have been playing much better with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback over the last few weeks, and their defense is playing better. We're seeing them, some of their young guys are starting to round into form, while some of their veterans like Calais Campbell are still playing at a very good level. I think they've got a really good mix of young and old on their defense, and with Jacoby Brissett at the quarterback position and their offensive line blocking well, they're giving them opportunities to move the ball downfield. And I want to say it was John Gruden mentioned it, that the receivers being able to see the ball coming out of Jacoby Brissett's hand as a much taller quarterback than Kyler Murray gives them an opportunity to track the ball sooner and get to the spot where they meet and make the receptions, as opposed to Kyler, where he oftentimes is just, off his back foot, just throwing the ball up in the air because he pre-reads the defense and basically throwing up 50-50 balls. So we're seeing this Cardinals offense play well. Seahawks are arguably the best team in football right now. They got it done for us. They kicked the shit out of Washington, but that Washington defense was just bad. And then, the offense couldn't get anything going. They looked bad. Jaden Daniels looked rusty, and then he got hurt, which is just a brutal way for that game to end. You never want to see star players going out in a game. You always want them to be healthy so we get the best games every week. But I'm leaning Arizona plus the 6.5. This team is not getting blown out. I mean, they had a chance to win against the Colts. Against the Colts. Who else was it? They had a chance to win against this Seahawks team the first time they played in Arizona. Seahawks got out to a little bit of a lead. They were missing all their cornerbacks in that game. And then Arizona ended up making a comeback. Kyler Murray was playing in that game and brought them back. Now they're 6.5-point dogs on the road. And we know that Seattle under Mike Macdonald has not been great against the spread. I think this line is inflated because of what we saw on Sunday Night Football with Seattle. And although the Cardinals did beat up on a porous Cowboys defense last week, they also really held those the dual wide receivers in CeeDee Lamb and Pickens. They kept them in check. So I think we could see that 3-high safety look used again against the Seahawks. And JSN, I think he didn't do very well against them in their first game. And I know they got Rashid Shaheed, who is accustomed to this Kubiak offense, but it might take him a minute just to get accustomed to being out on the West Coast. I just like this Cardinals team plus the points. I think that this is way too many. This is a 3-point game. If the Seahawks win it, they win by 3. I don't see this being a blowout. So give me the Cardinals plus 6.5. That one's probably going to certainly make the card. And again, Seattle is the public favorite overwhelmingly right now getting bets. All the money line parlays and all that shit's going to be tied to Seattle. So we definitely want to be on the opposite side of that one this week. Lions and Commanders. This is another weird line because it was 8.5. It's 7.5 in the contest. Why it's moving away from why it's moving away from the Commanders and in the Lions' favor when Detroit is by far getting the majority of the bets in this one, and they're going to be in everybody's money line parlay. Dan Campbell and Jared Goff have been phenomenal against the spread, and they've been really good against the spread off a loss. They've got revenge on their mind because this is the team that knocked them out of the playoffs last year when they were expected to be the NFC representatives in the Super Bowl. All these narratives are on the Lions side, and yet the Commanders go from 8.5 to 7.5 with Marcus Mariota at quarterback, the injuries on defense, the injuries on offense. I mean, what's the deal here? Why is this line the way it is? Because the Detroit Lions have been struggling to run the ball, although they could certainly rectify those problems against this Commanders team. They're missing a bunch of their guys on the offensive line. So are they going to be in this game? Are they going to be able to run the ball the way they have earlier in the season? Or is this a different version of the Lions since their offensive line has suffered so many injuries? And then this Detroit defense is still pretty thin in the secondary. They've been duct taping this defensive secondary together because of all the injuries. And could we see Marcus Mariota's mobility be enough for this Commanders team to hang close with this Lions team? I mean, yes, they lost to the Vikings last week. That's a divisional matchup on the road. Back-to-back road games now. Everybody's going to be like, they're going to be angry, blah, 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 blah. I mean, this is definitely contest play 101 with the Commanders. I don't think I can get there with them. I would have liked it better if it was 8.5, but the fact that it went from 8.5 to 7.5 is even more telling of why the Commanders might be the right side in this one. This is purely contest play if you're going with the Commanders, because you're going to have to give me at least one way. How do the Commanders win this game? Because you got to believe they're going to have an opportunity to win if you think they're going to cover the spread, since most teams cover the spread when they win. Either the favorites win outright or the favorites win and cover, or the dogs win outright. You know, I never like to say, well, I don't know if they're going to win, but they might cover, because that's just not, even though last week we had a couple of them, it's not the way I like to go. If that's the way I feel about a game, then I want to find another team to choose, because I want a team I think can actually win the game outright. So This is really hard because this line has just got me all kinds of confused. And then if you look at the total for this game, it's 49 to 48.5. So you're either expecting a blowout from Detroit where they score, like 31 to 17, or you're expecting the Commanders to keep this close. So I don't know. I don't have a good read on this one. So I don't think this will be in the I don't think this one will be in the contest for sure. Rams at 49ers, certainly the one of the better games of the weekend. We've got that one. We've got the Monday night game, which is good. The Sunday night game is also good between Steelers and Chargers, but we've got some stinkers mixed in there too. But this one, Rams and 49ers, rematch of the Thursday night game a couple weeks ago that eliminated so many people in the Survivor contest. Now you've got the Rams going on the road to Santa Clara, taking on the 49ers. Rams are -4.5. They've been dominant in their wins. The 49ers have been, they've been winning games. Their defense has been, held together with rubber bands and shit. But somehow Salah's got this team. Oh, shit, he dropped it and they didn't rush the punter. He got it away. Wow. But I don't know how much longer these 49ers defense can just continue to handle all these injuries. I mean, they've got a bunch of guys on the injury report again this week. I mean, are they going to be down even more guys and pulling more guys off the practice squad? This is not the team you want to be doing that against, because although the 49ers offense has been good, the defense for the Rams is top 3. They're up there with the Broncos and the Texans. And Seattle. I don't think Seattle's getting enough credit, but they're like the top 4 defenses right now. Are they going to be able to shut down this 49ers offense? And then how are the 49ers going to stop this Rams offense? I know Kyle Shanahan historically has been good against the spread with McVay. This may be one of the best teams that McVay is bringing into this game, between their defense and what they can do on offense and the way Matthew Stafford's been playing, and they can run the ball so the play action will work. I just don't know if the 49ers are going to be able to keep this facade going up of being a contender. I think a lot of their early wins were really coin flips. They've gotten some lucky ones. Turnover luck has gone their way, but at some point all these injuries have got to catch up with them, and I think this might be the game. I like the Rams minus the 4.5. I also think 49ers plus 4.5 is going to be very popular because everybody knows that normally these games are tight and that the 49ers have historically been on the winning side against the Rams under Shanahan with McVay. But I think this could be that week where that number is a false number. They're giving them that 4.5 because they're asking you, they want you to take the 49ers here. So I really think the Rams are the right side here, and they could certainly make my my top 5 because the Rams in the red zone with Nakua and Adams, and it's just so hard to stop them. These guys are so hard to tackle, and they can throw these wide receiver screens that turn Nakua into a running back, and Adams can out jump anyone. He's got such great hands and body control. Like, in the red zone, you're able to throw that fade route to him, and Stafford's been really good at it with Adams. That's why he's got so many. Oh, Nick's trying to throw an interception. That's why Adams has so many receiving touchdowns this year, is because he's so good in that red zone at that play. And I don't know if the 49ers are going to be able to. I don't know if they're going to have enough for him this week. I know their offense can do well, but they played against a really beat up Giants defense last week. So don't let that game fool you. They're not playing that team. They're playing a much better Rams defense this week. All right, we got a reception by Franklin. And it looks like they might go for it. It's 4th and 1 now. 4th and 1, 4th and 2. So, yeah, the Rams minus 4.5. I think I might have to fade the public narrative that everybody's on the 49ers and, take a really good team here in an advantageous spot. And normally these divisional matchups, these teams split these games 1-1. So the fact that the 49ers won the first game in L.A., I think the Rams are. This is where they're going to get their win back, where they're going to be head-to-head 1-1. I don't see the 49ers beating them 2 games in a row this year. Steelers and Chargers. I wanted to go with the Chargers in this game, but the offensive line injuries really have me concerned. Justin Herbert's been taking a lot of abuse this year. He's been getting hit quite a bit. He's getting sacked a lot. Steelers defense really turned it on last week against the Colts. They showed what they're capable of when it comes to rushing the passer, getting after the quarterback, and creating turnovers off of that pressure, which gives Rodgers in this offense more opportunities to score points here. So this really feels like a trap game to me. The Steelers fans travel better probably than any fan base in the NFL. They will be full of terrible towels in SoFi Stadium. They will love to go out to Los Angeles if they're not already out in California, these Steelers fans. Because you got to remember, a lot of these fans for Pittsburgh have been fans of this fucking team since the 70s, back when they were winning all their Super Bowls. And they don't live in Pittsburgh. They were like a national team. They're like the Cowboys or the Patriots, especially like the Cowboys and the Steelers. Like they're like this national team where they actually have fan bases like in every NFL city that's just contrarian to whatever the local fan base is. So their fans travel really well. So I don't see much of a home field advantage for the Chargers here. Yeah, this just feels like trap written all over it again, just like last week. And I called it last week. I said this -3 against the -3 for the Colts last week. It just felt totally out of place. Like there was no reason for that line to be what it was. I didn't have the guts to actually use it in the 5, but it was one of the bets that I made was the Steelers +3. So, can they pull it off 2 weeks in a row? Can Tomlin get this team up again? I think so. I think they can. And I'm sure the Chargers are going to be very popular. I mean, they lost for us last week. They won by 7 points, but the line was 8.5. They gave up 14 points, one pick six, and then a punt return for a touchdown. Other than that, the offense for the Titans didn't do much, but the Titans' offense, their offensive line could not protect Ward. So I don't think you'll get that with Rodgers. Rodgers is, a much more experienced quarterback. He gets the ball out, I think, faster than any other quarterback in the NFL this year. He can read defenses better than anybody, and he loves to use the play clock till its final seconds. He got the best cadence, to draw teams off. Everything about this line for the Chargers, and it's the -2.5 fishy line. Lay 2.5 with the home favorite because you're not laying a field goal. It just seems too easy. It seems too easy. Normally in the NFL, when you're handicapping, when it's too easy, there's usually a reason. So I don't think it'll make the card, but I definitely lean Steelers +2.5. And if I can get this one at 3, I'll probably be betting this one by Sunday as well. Final game, which is another really good one of the better games of the week. The Philadelphia Eagles coming off their bye, taking on the Packers in Monday Night Football in Lambeau. Night game in Lambeau under the lights. I mean, all we need. Oh, nice for Bowers. Big reception by the Raiders in a first down. All we need is snow in this Packers game to make it, pure cinema, as, they love to show on X, the Martin Scorsese, cinema. So you definitely see some drama in this game. I like the Eagles +2.5 in this one. I think people are forgetting just how good this Philadelphia team is. I know they haven't played the best, but they win even when they're not playing their best. And now they're coming off the bye where they had an opportunity to get healthy. Their GM went out and added some pieces to the team. Meanwhile, the Packers just lost Musgraves, which was like, I think I saw he was like 23% of their passing production. Or no, I'm sorry. Tucker Kraft was almost 24% of their passing production. Now you're going to have Musgrave having to try to fill that void. I don't think Reed's going to be back yet. And, you don't know what you're getting with this Packers team. We've seen them come out and look really good against inferior competition, and we've also seen them come out and lose against really tough defenses. They lost to the Browns, and then they lose to Carolina at home. Now, Carolina's defense is not very good, so that was just – now, they did move the ball down in the red zone and scoring areas. They just weren't able to capitalize. So the game was closer than the score would indicate with the Packers actually being able to pull out the win in that one. So, but again, it's another one of these -2.5 fishing lines. Oh, just laying under a field goal with the home favorite. Seems so easy, right? Seems like it's a no-brainer. I don't think people are putting the respect on the Philadelphia Eagles that they deserve. And so I'm willing to take 2.5 with the Eagles on the road on Monday night. So, yeah, my 5 as it stands right now, if I had to put in my picks right now, it would be the Arizona Cardinals plus 6.5, the Houston Texans plus 1.5, the New York Giants plus 4.5, the Philadelphia Eagles plus 2.5, and the Los Angeles Rams minus 4.5. That's the lineup I have right now as of Thursday. Now, obviously, the Giants are the big one that could easily be replaced, and I've said that I think if I replace them, I might replace them with the New England Patriots and try to fade the public and all the – what the fuck kind of – you're 2 yards away, you run a quarterback sneak with Geno Smith? This Chip Kelly needs to be fired. Chip Kelly needs to be fired. I don't know what the hell they're calling. You got Austin Gentry. You spend all this fucking money on a running back in the or spend this draft capital on this running back in the draft, and then you don't even give it to him. And now it's 4th and 2. They're not going to kick the field goal. They're at least lining up to go for it. They've got one of the better field goal kickers. You're on the road. Why don't you take the points? You're in Mile High. Your kicker could certainly make this. All right. Oh, no. Oh, no. We need this Trey Tucker touchdown. They're going to call a fucking penalty? Damn. That was our Trey Tucker touchdown. And they call Thornton Jr. for offensive pass interference, man. Yeah, that's too obvious, man. He's looking at the guy instead of looking at the quarterback like he's going to get the ball. Damn. That was our touchdown, man. That was our Trey Tucker touchdown. That would have been, and it would have given us more points for the over. Oh, that's brutal. Now they got to punt it. Oh, if that Thornton Jr. just turns shoulder to shoulder with the guy and puts his hands up like he's about to catch the ball, they don't call that. But because he basically blocked him, I mean, he ran into him with his hands to block him. Whoa, did you see the way that thing bounced sideways? Holy shit, it went out right at the 1 yard line. Man, I've never seen a football take a bounce. It literally bounced, hit the ground at the 1 yard line, and then completely deflected 90 degrees. Wow, what a kick. Literally turns 90 degrees and bounces out inside the 1 yard line. Talk about a crazy kick. This is why football is such a fluky game. Because now the Broncos are going to be at their own 1 yard line. And what could happen with Max Crosby coming in for a strip sack or some shit and give the Raiders even more points here? If they do, I want them to get the turnover. Just don't score the touchdown. I need them to bring their offense back on the field. Man, that sucks that Trey Tucker touchdown got taken off the board. But so, yeah, those are the Circa Million lines for Week 10. As I've said, as it sits right now, we like Arizona plus the 6.5, Houston plus 1.5. The Giants plus 4.5. The Eagles plus 2.5. And the Rams minus 4.5. That's where it stands right now as of Thursday with our picks for the Circa Million. Man, these field position and penalties are just killing this over, man. I mean, the Broncos got to go 99 yards to score here. And if they do it, it'll be halftime by the time they do, which is just a killer. But yeah, some of these games are just atrocious, man. Who the hell wants anything to do with the Browns and the Jets? Or like the Bills and the Dolphins? Lions and Commanders. I mean, I understand you can take all the favorites and hopefully you'll get it done. Man, this has been a sorry ass offensive performance by these teams, man. Who's that? Oh, that's our second reception by Franklin. All right. All right. We're going to need a couple more of those, but I don't mind it. A reception's a reception, even if it's a bubble screen that doesn't go anywhere. Oh. Looks like the Raiders, it's going to be 4th and 1 inside their own 20-yard line. So it looks like the Raiders are going to get good field position again. Yeah, this Denver team, man, this seems to be they're I guess they're like the best team against the spread in the fourth quarter. They don't do shit early in the game. And then in the second half, Bo Nix does his best John Elway impression and scores all his points in the fourth quarter to do just enough to win all these games by the smallest of margins. I mean, they were tied with Houston last week all that time, and then a penalty and a another shanked punt. Another shanked punt. That's going to be at the 50-yard line. And Broncos fans are not happy. And then a Bo Nix scramble in that game against the Texans. That was the big difference. That really got them within field goal range because they didn't do shit in that game. I mean, there was one busted coverage touchdown when I think Stingley, he slipped or whatever there, and that was that Cortland Sutton touchdown. But again, I mean, here it is. It's just a 7-point game. This Broncos defense keeping them in the game. Again, Geno Smith playing like shit. We need a couple more receptions by Genty and a couple more receptions by Franklin. We need some points, damn it. We need to hit this over. We need to get our touchdowns. Oh, yeah, that's not a catch. Can't do that. Yeah, they got to reset the play clock because they had to move the ball back. Oh. Well, that's not good for my fantasy team. They try to run a tight end sweep with Brock Bowers, and he just got tackled for a 4-yard loss. That ain't good. I'm losing points. Yeah, the Broncos, I say one of the things the Broncos do well is tackle. Another 3rd and long for the Raiders. Well, they're going to squander this field position again. Punt the fucking ball back to the Broncos. And Myers with the reception. Are they going to go for it? I mean, you're essentially in no man's land. You punt it. How much field position are you going to gain? If you go for it and you don't get it, I mean, is it the worst? Or do you kick a field goal here? Carlson could make this. No, they're going for it. Yep, they snap it. Watch out, Geno. And Geno gets sacked. That was, as they said, that was the worst possible outcome. Yeah, Mozart's supposed to be picking up the blitz, and he's inside while the guy's coming from the outside. He's not even looking at him. And then Geno's bitching out Mozart for not picking up the blitz. I don't blame him. But as a quarterback, he also needs to point it out, like at the line of scrimmage. Like, all right, you see him right there? Make sure you don't fucking look somewhere else because that guy's probably coming. Keep an eye on him. And if he starts coming, that's where you need to be. And he didn't do that. So that's just as much on Geno as it is on Mozart. But hit that like and subscribe button. I don't know why this thing is playing so slowly. Be sure to hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever the Dead Money Sports videos are released. Again, on Saturday at 6 p.m., we will have the selection show for Circa Millions and the final 5 selections that we are using for Week 10. So be sure to join us on Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Not too many good college football games in that window next week. So it kind of sucks. The best game, and still dealing with the fallout from the YouTube ESPN deal where they're no longer providing ESPN channels because that's I have YouTube TV, so I don't get those games currently, and I'm not paying for ESPN's subscription. But the best game of the week is on ABC in the 9 o'clock window with number 7 BYU against number 8 Texas Tech. That's going to be a really good game. But unfortunately, I won't be able to watch it here. I might have to go to one of the local sports books to be able to watch that one, or just watch the other games and screw it. I'm not a huge college football fan to begin with. I mean, I enjoy watching them, but at the same time, I'm not going to go out of my way. But the 4:30 or 4 o'clock window, I mean, you've got LSU at Alabama. Alabama's number 4, LSU unranked, but that's always a good game, SEC game. Again, that's on or on ABC. Navy at Notre Dame on Peacock. But other than that, I mean, there isn't any. There isn't anything, outstanding as far as the games are. I mean, Florida State and Clemson probably looked good at the beginning of the year, not so much right now. All right, come on, Denver. Put some points on the board, man. Are we going to go into halftime 7 points in this game? And another penalty. Denver would have gotten the first down with the Dobbins run, but they're calling holding on Denver. So now it's going to be, what, 2nd and 11. Uh-oh. Nick Bonito with a neck stinger or something going on. Nice. Another first down for the Broncos. Last thing I want is for them to be punting the ball again. This is going to have to be one of those games with the low-scoring first half, and then everybody makes adjustments, and it comes out firing in the second half. Obviously, the Broncos, one of the better teams in the fourth quarter. That's when they seem to score all their points. So we're not out of it yet. And we got a big game by Bryant Jr. or Bryant the second. Bo Nix scrambling around. He was right at the line of scrimmage, too. Mm-hmm. Crosby went out wide. He just ran right inside of him. All right. Can we get an R.J. Harvey touchdown here? He's not even in the game. Oh, no, he is in the game. That was him. They ran it out. They ran like a bubble screen, whatever, with him in motion, but he didn't do shit. Harvey goes in motion again. Ugh. Touchdown. Troy Franklin has another reception for us. Another reception for us. And a little more for our total. Can the Raiders do something with this remaining little bit of time? Get some more points on the board before halftime? I'd love to see them go in with 21 points on the board. And it's good. And we are tied at 7 apiece in the second quarter with 2:41 remaining. Can the Raiders do anything with this remaining time in the first half to help us get closer to the over 42.5? And that was also another Franklin reception. So we are currently with 3 receptions there. Ginty only 1 at the moment, so we need him to get involved in the passing game for the Raiders. And that is 1 passing touchdown for Bo Nix as well. So we need 1 more passing touchdown from Bo Nix, 2 more receptions from Franklin, and 2 more from Ginty. And at least we'll have 1 winner of the parlay. And it also helps us with our over 42.5. Man, that Trey Tucker touchdown being called back was just a killer. So who's going to be the big upset for Week 10? If I had to pick one team that could possibly pull it off, it's got to be the Cardinals, I think. I mean, are the 49ers a big... I mean, they're 4.5-point underdogs. That could potentially be an upset. The Steelers, the Eagles, but these aren't big lines. The 6.5s, 7.5s. There's not a lot of big lines this week. I mean, there's a couple lopsided ones. I don't know if the Dolphins got it in them to beat Buffalo. They could maybe keep it within that 9.5, but I don't think they got it in them to beat them. Gino, and he's sacked. They really got hosed on that deal. Like I think he really benefited from his situation in Seattle, and now he's being asked to be the leader of this team, and I just don't think it's not where he's at. Denver with the timeout. They're going to try and get the ball back. Maybe they can score before halftime. Man, Austin Genty can't keep getting hit like that, man. He's not gonna last, man. Those are the kind of hits that give you a concussion. Third and 6 now. They're not getting this first down. There's no way Gino takes another sack. I knew there was no way. Boy, was he a great pickup for the Broncos at Allen. I mean, if he wasn't going to get him, Benito was going to get him. He had nowhere to go. This offensive line for the Raiders is just booty. All right, so the Broncos are going to get the ball back with just under 2 minutes to go, one timeout, and an opportunity to score here. We need them to put a touchdown in the end zone. Preferably to R.J. Harvey. Mm. Yeah, let's get Nix his second passing touchdown and give it to R.J. Harvey. That would be the double dipper. Another international game. Somebody mentioned it on X, and I really think it's a good idea. Instead of doing these international games, which I know is because the NFL wants to grow their fan base overseas, but if they did some of these games like at historic college stadiums, I just think that would be so much more fun for the fans. And they get the, you still get the games in the United States, so those fan bases could potentially go to those games. Like, you have the Bengals playing at, the Horseshoe in Ohio State, or you have, the Steelers playing at Happy Valley, or something like that. I mean, I think the Rams they used to play at the Coliseum, so I don't think that's a big deal. But some of these other big stadiums like LSU and shit like that have the Saints playing at LSU at night under the lights. That shit would be awesome. And it's not like these stadiums aren't big enough to handle the crowds. Their college stadiums are bigger than the pro stadiums. I mean, Detroit Lions, against the Vikings at the Big House in Ann Arbor. Oh my goodness, who was that? Dobbins. That was he almost put that right in the hands of the defender there. Oh, it was Ball, or I don't know who that was. And he almost put that right in the hands of the defender. Ingram. We haven't seen Mercedes Lewis, have we? Yeah, is that Mercedes Lewis, the tight end they signed, the 41-year-old? There we go. Nix with another throw to Junior Bryant the second. Another flag. Flag on the play. He's going to be holding on the defense. They're walking forward. Oh, no. Well, they called pass interference on the offense this time. That's a little soft for pass interference. That's a little soft. He didn't even knock the guy off balance. Hmm. And he got it. Got the first down. Sutton. They're going no huddle. They've only got the one timeout, just over a minute, so no timeout here. False start on the offensive line. Shit. And that's been one of the knocks on the Broncos. They cleaned it up last week, but they've been one of the more penalized teams just in general as a team. And they're just burning up these, their opportunities with these fucking penalties, man. I mean, they get a offensive pass interference. They convert it to a first down anyway on third down. And then now they got to start 1st and 15 again. Come on, man. Wow, that was almost dangerous. Franklin. It went to Franklin, but it was out of his reach. Second and 15 now. Nick's scrambling, throwing deep. And it's intercepted by the Raiders. Go, run it, run it. Man, what a wasted opportunity by the Broncos there. Yeah, he was on the run off, and just tried to throw it as far as he could down the field to a guy he saw with two people covering him. Yeah, that's not going to work. I mean, did you not see the safety back there? It wasn't even, and that was the guy that was on the receiver is the one who intercepted the ball. I mean, this is the inexperience of Bo Nix. Where he when he makes plays like that, that makes you wonder, like, what kind of a ceiling does this team have when it comes to the playoffs? Because you can't make those plays in the playoffs. Like, those are the kind of plays that lose you playoff games. Wasted scoring opportunities. And, oh, my God, he dropped the ball. Hit him in the fucking hands. Man, that's a killer. Gino finally makes the perfect throw to Thornton. It hit him right in the hands, and he doesn't catch it. Oh, my goodness. Oh, man, that's terrible. I mean, it hit him right. There was nothing. The defender wasn't even near him. They're in field goal range. He makes that catch. Wow. That's brutal. That's brutal. The one good throw Geno Smith makes, the guy drops it. And that just shows you the it's the entire antithesis of the Raiders season. When they finally have an opportunity to make a big play, to potentially go in at halftime leading the Broncos, the guy doesn't catch the ball. They just lack talent at the most key positions when it matters most. Can we get Genty a cheap reception here at the end of this game? I don't. Tyler Lockett, I think he just went over his receptions. Man, I'm kind of pissed I didn't play him because him and Geno had a good relationship when he played for Seattle. Yeah, he's definitely got happy feet back there. That's why I'd love to see a dump off to Genty. Let's get him an extra reception here in garbage time. They've got 2 timeouts still. It's only 15 seconds, but you don't have to worry about throwing over the middle. Nice, he caught it. Good. That's a reception by Genty. I don't care that he lost yards. Nope, they're going to let it run out. They're not even going to throw a Hail Mary. They're not even going to throw a Hail Mary. I can't believe he didn't throw a Hail Mary there. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back for the second half of the Raiders and the Broncos, tied at 7. back. Welcome back to Dead Money Sports, the gambling parlor for the second half of the Thursday Night Football watch party. Let's go ahead and take this down. Put this up. And we'll be sweating out the remainder of our bets for tonight. We've got the over 42.5. Obviously, they're struggling to get points on the board in this game. We've got Franklin has 3 receptions. He needs 5. And we need Genty to have 3 receptions. He has 2. So we're only 1 away from Genty with a half to go. And 2 away from Franklin. Now, he likes to throw to Franklin, so we've got a good shot at that one. And then we need Nix to get another touchdown pass. He has 1. He needs 2. As far as the long shot parlay with the over 42.5, we needed Trey Tucker to score a touchdown. They took that one off the board. And R.J. Harvey had a shot, but didn't get in the end zone. False start on the Broncos. Not how you want to start. And 9th penalty, they said. Right back to their old ways. I mean, this was the story of the Broncos. One of the most penalized teams. Oh, and that was Lewis. It's hard to be mad at him. The dude hasn't played in, forever. But you can't be doing that. You can't. Not on 3rd and 1 to make it, or 2nd and 1 to make it 2nd and 6. I mean, I know he's a big guy. He's out there to block more than he is to catch. Or no, I'm sorry. It's 1st and 15. That was 1st and 10. I have to say, the field position for the Broncos has been a key factor in this game. They keep having to start their drives deep in their own territory where it's hard for them to really open up the playbook. And with, a guy like Max Crosby who can get to the quarterback on any play and create a turnover, you got to be extra careful in this area of the field. So the Broncos have really struggled, and it's been because of the special teams of the Raiders. Oh, he's got him. Oh, no, he threw it into the ground. They were about to get a sack on Nix in the end zone, but he threw it away at the feet of his running back. Smart play. Smart play. The last thing you want to do is give them a safety, give them 2 points and the ball. Essentially, I mean, it looks like they might squander this opening opportunity anyway, but you definitely don't want to give them points and give them the ball. But we need points. We want it. We need the over. We need 4 touchdowns in this second half. And another incompletion, and it's going to be 4th and 12 from inside their own 10-yard line. Broncos fans are pissed. Yeah, the Broncos are 7-2, man. I know your team's struggling. The game's 7-7, man. They're 7-2. What's shocking about the way this team's playing right now? This has been their MO all year. Don't do anything offensively for 3 quarters. Your defense is outstanding. I think they have 5 sacks or 6 sacks in this game now. And then in the 4th quarter, when the other team's defense is tired, your offense comes to life. And you score just enough points to win the game by the skin of your teeth. All right. So the Broncos, the Raiders would have good field position, but it looks like they're going to get a penalty. That's a killer. Instead of having the ball at midfield, now they're going to back them all the way up. All these missed opportunities by the Raiders. Ugh. All I see is unscored points. right, so 1st and 10 at their own 29 instead of at the 50. Tell you one thing though, this Broncos team and Sean Payton better clean up this penalty issue because it might work against these inferior teams. I mean, they've talked about the Broncos playing one of the more easy schedules up to this point. You can get away with that stuff against bad teams, but once you get into the playoffs, man, it's like that ain't gonna work. You can't give up all these free yards to your opponent and expect to win the game. That's why they struggle every week. Did they get a delay a game on 3rd and 2? They call timeout. I mean, you can't do that in a 12 and a half minutes into the, or 2.5 minutes into the third quarter. And you're already using your timeouts. All right, back to the 3rd and 2. Trey Tucker. Throw it to Genty. No, he's blocking. Ugh. He threw it way high, and that's, Tyler Lockett's not a tall receiver. And then he gets hit on the side of the knee, gets up gimpy. Dude's out here throwing hospital balls and shit. Well, at least the Broncos aren't standing on their own goal line. They're at the 15, 16-yard line. That's Red Rocks. Oh man! So what bet are we? What bet are we sweating right now? Not the way I wanted this game to start. Not the way I wanted this game to start. Or the second half, I mean. Punt, punt. I'd really like to get the Knicks touchdown and the Franklin receptions on this drive. I definitely like these throwback jerseys for the Broncos with the Raiders traditional, color scheme because this definitely reminds you of those John Elway days. I mean, obviously, it's only the beginning of November, but you'd love to have a weather game in this situations. All right, little movement there. Get some points on this board. They calling it a first down, or is he short? Okay, so it's third and one, third and a half a yard. Broncos need to convert this. What are they doing? Prime is like, man, this game's so fucking boring. We got to go to Al Michaels and Herb Street in the booth and have Al Michaels tell some stories about some of the better games that he's broadcast between these two because this one's a stinker. Yeah, full super moon. I could really see it out here in Tahoe. Yesterday it was rainy. We actually got snow in the morning, but it was only at the higher elevations up from where I am. It was raining here, but most of that shit melted away today because the sun. Once the sun comes out, it warms up. But now you can really see the moon today. I don't think he got that. It looked like he slipped. It's gonna all depend on the spot. With his left foot, I think he got it. Yeah, they gave him the first down. That was close. Man, Pete Carroll's like, man, are you sure about that? That looked like a pretty generous spot there, buddy. He's like, listen, man, we need to get some scoring going on in this game. The viewership numbers are going down. We're getting calls from the commissioner. We got to get some points. Give him the first down. Full back in the flat. John Gruden's loving that pass. They're moving the ball. They're also chewing up the clock, too, which is never a good thing. We need fast scores, man. None of this fucking every third down converted. Every drive or every series goes to a third down. We need some big plays here. Right now, the Broncos are more than happy just to hand the ball off. Another third down. Mm. I need him to throw the ball to Franklin at least 2 more times and preferably get R.J. Harvey a touchdown. All right, he got this first down. And he's coming out. R.J. Harvey again. Hopefully they give Harvey an opportunity to score a touchdown if they get down there. Man, another false start? Damn. Yeah, he got back the penalty yardage, but it's still going to be third and short. Every one of these series, third down, third down. I mean, they're going to eat up the entire third quarter clock on this drive. 9 plays, 48 yards, 5 minutes and 40 seconds and counting on this drive. If they don't score a touchdown on this drive, it's just a total waste. Run a bootleg with Nix and let him run it. What the fuck? Throw the ball. They did a backwards pass to Sutton. Sutton runs around, doesn't see an open man, and doesn't throw the ball. And loses 5 yards. What a joke. And so now they're going to line up for a long field goal by Lutz. 59-yarder. What a stupid play. No good. Short. He had the accuracy but didn't have the distance. And that's Denver, man. You're supposed to be able to kick those long field goals there. Looked like he clipped the ground with his foot. Well, we can pretty much kiss the over goodbye unless we go to overtime. The best possible scenario at this point is for somehow this game to end in regulation 21-21 and for it to go to overtime. Because without that extra quarter or extra time, I don't see it getting over the 42 and a half. It's just been a comedy of errors by both teams. The Raiders have squandered multiple opportunities for big plays, and the Broncos can't stop committing penalties at the worst possible times, putting themselves in bad down and distance. But we've got time. I mean, we're still in the third quarter. Well, let's get Genty's over on the receptions at least. Would be nice. He only needs one more, right? Yeah, he's got two receptions for -1 yard because that one at the end of the first half he lost yards on it. And Franklin's still sitting at 3, and Nick's still sitting at 1 passing touchdown. We're right on the edge of all of them. Mm. Yeah, he's pretty good, Nick Benito. All right, can we get Genty his third reception, please? There we go. Oh, it's off his fucking hands and intercepted by the Broncos. And the defensive lineman's taking it back. He's still on his feet, down at the 33-yard line. Oh, my goodness. That would have been Genty's third reception. Instead, it bounces off his hands up into the air and intercepted by the Broncos, returned to the 35-yard line. What a turn of events. No surprise, the Broncos defense once again bailing out their offense. Wow. I mean, Gino kind of fired it in there, but you got to catch that ball. You got to catch. I mean, it was off. It was behind him, but you got to catch that if you're a wide receiver. If you're a running back, man, you got to catch that ball. All right, can we give R.J. Harvey a touchdown? Can we get Franklin some more receptions here? Because now Genty, are they going to even trust him throwing him the ball again? After that one? The 33. Nothing. I'm not saying that the Broncos need to abandon the run, but I think they need to look to pass the ball on early downs. They're not really doing much on early downs running the ball. Ugh. I mean, he had it behind him. It was on his back shoulder. But damn. He was thinking about getting hit. Another penalty. Another offensive pass interference is on the Broncos. Like, wow. I mean, I'm sure some of that had to do with how long that play took to try to develop, but man, yeah, he's expecting the ball to be thrown to R.J. Harvey. That was the play, and it doesn't get thrown. He starts blocking. Man, that was Franklin too. Don't get taken off the field. I need you for two more receptions. Inside draw on 2nd and 20, and he fumbled the ball. Dobbins is getting up a little gimpy. He got twisted down on his ankle. Yeah, that hurts. Yeah, that's not a good way for your foot and your ankle to get twisted underneath somebody's body. Hmm. Yeah, he's not going to be going back in. That's high ankle sprain territory there. All right, another good tackle by the Raiders, and they're going to hold them. I don't know. Are they going to try another field goal? Probably not. No, they're going to punt it. So the Raiders get the ball back. No harm from the interception. So the Raiders starting at their own 20. 3 minutes in the third quarter left, and nobody scored a point. Yeah, what a disappointing night for Brock Bowers. I got him on my fantasy team, but it's the one that I have no chance of winning with, so it doesn't really matter. But damn, one reception for 31 yards. They're gonna call intentional grounding. It didn't make it back to the line of scrimmage, and the guy was 15 yards away. Yeah, you didn't draft Austin Genty in the first round to be out there blocking linebackers. Yeah, it's probably the storm that just rolled through over here on the West Coast. It's now hitting out there in Colorado because that's what it looked like yesterday here. Wind, rain, and snow at the higher elevations. Oh, they blocked it. They blocked the kick. Nice. Nice. So the Broncos are going to have the ball in great field position. You could see that one coming. They got close a couple times earlier. Now they had them backed up on their own goal line. What a time. Every phase of this team, the defense is keeping them in it. The offense ain't doing shit. And now the special teams make the key play. Great play. Poor effort by the blockers for the Raiders, too. I mean, he was, off his face mask. In the face. Hit him in the face. All right, can we give R.J. Harvey a go here? Or, no, it looks like Dobbins is back in. Gonna run it with Nix, and he does nothing. Yeah, it looked like they had whoever it was, Bale or whatever, out there trying to be a lead blocker at running back. Not Dobbins. So maybe Dobbins is still nursing that twisted ankle. Are we going to get Harvey back in the game or what? And he's your receiving back. Looks like he's in now. Incomplete. 3rd and 12. They're going to squander this opportunity too. I mean, they got him the ball at the 15-yard line. Actually, the 13-yard line. They lost yards. Yep, he's getting jumpy again. All right, so that's 4 for Franklin. We'll take the reception. I mean, not much of an offensive performance there by them, but we'll take the reception. Yeah, the Raiders defense has been playing really good this game. Quite surprising. And they take the lead 10-7. Man, they block the punt, get them the ball inside the red zone, and they can't do shit. But this has been the Broncos' MO all year, right? Do nothing for 3 quarters offensively. Defense keeps you in the game. And then, boom, 4th quarter, Bo Nick starts scrambling around, making things happen, and they win the game by 2 points, 3 points, whatever. Oof, right off his face mask, too. That had to have been a little bell ringer. Wow. That's incredible. They said the Raiders have gone their last 6 possessions without a first down. I mean, where's this team? Where's the team that put up whatever it was, 38, 40 points last week against the Jags? What does that say about the Jaguars defense when a Raiders team that can only muster 7 points against the Broncos puts up 40 points against you? Another reason why I'm leaning Houston plus the 1.5. Not only the false narrative that the Texans are going to be that much worse with Davis Mills, but this Jags defense has not been very good. You see what the Raiders did against them. The Raiders' offensive line is no worse or no better than Houston's. And I would say Houston's offensive skill players, at least their wide receivers, are better. The running backs are a wash. And their defense is just light years ahead of the Raiders. So there's no way that the Jags should be favored on the road against this team. I know the Jags have lost. I mean, the Texans have lost some close games recently, but they've lost them against some really good teams. And I don't consider the Jacksonville Jaguars a very good team right now. I think their early season wins were almost exclusively because of the overwhelming turnover differential that they had. And if you notice in those games, they were barely winning when they were leading the turnovers like 3-0, 4-0, 4 turnovers to nothing. So definitely leaning Houston as one of my 5 for the Circa contest, and you're seeing part of the evidence. I know the Raiders, they talked about it, and it was true that they were gonna probably come out a little flat because of the overtime game. But honestly, the defense has played really well. It's the offense that's come out flat. Everyone was expecting the defense to be gassed because they were, and I was too, because of how many minutes they were on the field. But they're playing really well against this Broncos team. Their offense is just not helping them at all. So should the Raiders look to draft a quarterback in this upcoming draft? I mean, if they continue on the path that they're on, they're going to be drafting probably top 5. So that means they're going to have an opportunity to pick somebody that's probably decent if they can actually get a good scouting department to figure out who to draft. But I know they signed Geno Smith to that contract. I'm sure they can get out of it and just have to pay some money, but or potentially trade him to another team and get some value back for him, maybe, and just agree to pay part of his salary. I mean, I don't know how you build around him. Oof. Try to, and now he's down. Geno Smith he was running a bootleg, and when he got tackled, he like landed right on the ball. I don't know if maybe he got the wind knocked out of him or what, but he is down. All right. I mean, it's about time they go to Kenny Pickett. I mean, how bad could Kenny Pickett be that even with the way Geno Smith played this year, he's still starting? Yeah, it looks like he lands right on the ball. Oof. Well, and he gets landed on by the defender on top of the ball. So that couldn't have felt good on your stomach. Mm. Yeah. Let this be a reminder to you if you're thinking about using the Jags or the the if you're looking to go against the Jags or if you're looking to fade well, it'd be Houston. I mean, this game right here is just a barometer of what this next game's going to be with Jacksonville and Houston, because you've got the two teams they played last week playing each other, and you're seeing a totally different performance from the Raiders. I mean, the Broncos aren't doing very much on offense, and what does that say about Houston's defense? But I think it says more about the Broncos offense than it does the Raiders defense or Houston's. But what I'm really getting out of this one is how inefficient the Raiders offense has been most of the season, and they ran it up the score and almost won that game on the two-pointer in overtime against Jacksonville. He's limping off. Maybe Kenny Pickett come in and give him a spark anyway. I really think he just got the wind knocked out of him, but ooh, might have got Charlie horsed in the thigh with the guy's knee. Hmm. Yeah, look at he got. Look, he went. The defender's knee went right into the side of his knee. That couldn't have felt good. And of course, we don't have the guts to call a play action pass. We're gonna run it, and the defense just swallowed him up. Maybe Pickett will dump it off to Genty. Although Mozart's been their third down back, he's in for this third down though. Nah, I had no chance of doing anything. Even if the guy caught it, it wasn't going to do anything. Another punt. Another punt. This has been a boring ass game. This was an under better's dream. If you bet the unders on props, if you bet the under on touchdowns, on points, team totals. You are in heaven right now because this has been a boring ass game. Out of bounds, penalty probably on the Raiders. Yep. Finally, a penalty not on the Raiders. Or, I mean, on the Broncos. Yeah, the Raiders gunner ran out of bounds without being pushed and did not come directly back in. That's a 5-yard penalty. All right, Bo Nix. Then they go down, score touchdown. Not only score touchdown, hopefully passing, get Franklin his receptions, but also start covering that 8.5-point line. Again, all the trends said that the Broncos were the right side against the spread. 8.5 seemed like a big number earlier, but all of a sudden, we're right in that window where the Broncos got the ball up 3. If they score a touchdown, they go up 10, and Raiders haven't done anything offensively, and they're working with their backup quarterback, who wasn't good enough to dethrone Geno Smith, even though Geno Smith has been a turnover machine all year. Man, they should have gave this game to Germany and kept the Falcons and Colts in the United States. I mean, it's a close game. It's a competitive game, but man, it's just been a boring game. Geno Smith's coming out of the tent with his helmet, and he's jogging, checking his knee out. All right, pass to Sutton. It doesn't look like Geno's going to. I don't know. I mean, he's trying to run, but you're better off just going with Pickett at this point. He's done nothing all game. See what you got in Pickett. Bo Nix going deep. Threw it up to Franklin. Another 20-plus air yard incompletion to Franklin. They love to dial up these deep shots to Franklin, but they never complete the fucking things. He's like, I think I've just seen he was 2 for 15, so he's 2 for 16 now. And he's open. He puts too much air under the ball. And he just throws it away. 4th and 6. Now they're going to punt. Gino trying to come back in all gimpy and shit. They're showing the crowd in Denver, and they're just besides themselves. You're winning. I understand your offense has been horrible, but you're winning. But you're allowing the Raiders to just hang around and hang around. All right, we got a return. Man, they're going to call blindside block on that one. He hit him on his shoulder. Man, Genty's still stuck on 2 receptions. Still stuck on 2 receptions. After that deflection for an interception. And Franklin, now he's got 4. He needs one more, but we need Bo Nix to get another passing touchdown. And we're running out of time. We're running out of time. Ugh, what a nasty game. New York Jets going to New England to take on the Patriots. What's that line? It'll be like this one, 8.5 to 10. Especially if the Patriots win this week. If the Patriots win and the Jets lose as expected, it's going to be an ugly spread in that game. Gino. Trey Tucker. Mm. Yeah, they were still almost on him. I mean, you could tell he was getting happy feet. He had to step up in the pocket and went right to his legs as soon as he threw it. He doesn't have much oomph on his pass. There we go. That's our third reception by Genty. There we go. We got one leg in the book. 3 receptions by Austin Genty. So here's what's going to end up happening. Uh-oh, is Gino down again? Raiders are going to score a touchdown. They're going to go up by 4. Oh, and the Broncos are going to end up needing a touchdown in order. Look, he's grabbing at that leg. Consider Gino out next week. He won't, even though they're going to have extra time because it's the Thursday night game, he won't be playing in next week's game. They got the bye next week? I have to check. Yeah, handoff. Here we go. 3 receptions by Ashton Genty. And here's Franklin with 4. And we got 1 touchdown pass by Bo Nix. So we're going to need a touchdown by the Raiders to force the Broncos to have to go for a touchdown. Now they're shitting their bed. Geno Smith is completely immobile. He's not going to be able to run anywhere or get out of the pocket at all. And the Broncos have to know that now, so they're just going to pin their ears back. 3rd and 8. Do they go with Carlson for the field goal? I got him on my fantasy team. It'd be nice for him to get some points. He's got 1 fucking point this game. If they don't get it, they're going to go for the field goal. No sacks, Gino. I don't think it's in the best interest of the Raiders for Geno Smith to remain in this game. At this point, with his leg injury, the way he's hobbling around like that, you're better off with Kenny Pickett. Are they going to go for the field goal anyway? They're going to punt. They're going to punt. They're in Mile High. They've got a kicker with a really big leg, and they don't go for it. I don't know what the strategy is. Yep, in the end zone. All right, so they need to go down, score a touchdown, preferably a passing touchdown for Bo Nix. Get Franklin his other reception, and they'll also be covering that 8.5 point spread. And then what'll happen is Kenny Pickett will come in. He'll drive the Raiders into field goal range. They'll kick the field goal because they're down 2 scores, and they'll never score another point. All right, come on, Bo Nix. That was a nice commercial by Amazon. I like that one with the ladies getting the cushions so they can go sleigh riding. Yeah, not a bad coaching tree for Shanahan there. It's like the Parcells tree. Ooh, going back into the tent. What's the point of having Kenny Pickett on the team if he can't come in and play in this situation? He looks like he's ready, though. Getting the arm warmed up. Intercepted by the Raiders. Deflection off of Franklin and an intercept. I mean, it was a bad pass by Nix, but now the Raiders have the ball in the Broncos territory. Why is Geno Smith hobbling his ass out of the tent? Put Kenny Pickett in there and let him fucking operate the offense. Yeah, that was it was like between two receivers. I don't know who was supposed to get that ball there. Yeah, one guy puts his hands out, then pulls him back. Yeah, that's weird. Whoop. And off his arms, off Franklin's arms, right into the hands of the Raiders DB. Now they're at their own 45. Hand off to Genty. The one thing they can't do is go backwards here because if anything, they can at least kick the field goal and tie the game. But yeah, I don't like the fact that Geno Smith's still in this game, totally immobile. Oh, there we go. Jenny with the first down. And this is the thing, man. The Broncos defense has been bailing them out every game. They're holding the teams to no points or barely any points. And then in the fourth quarter, the Broncos do something and just barely win. And eventually that kind of style is going to catch up to you. Geno Smith is essentially in there just to hand off the ball at this point because he's They've yet to throw the ball on this drive, and it looks like they're just playing for the field goal. I mean, this is some scared ass football. He's going down. All right, at least he got rid of it. Don't get sacked. That would have been devastating. Way to bend but not break by the Broncos defense, at least. Here comes a big gust of wind. And he's no good. No good. This game is it's just preposterous, man. This is just insane. Well, we know the over's dead, and the anytime touchdown score prop one is dead. I don't know if we're going to even get this final touchdown by Knicks, because the way things have been going, they're perfectly happy with just running the ball on first and second down and then throwing it, converting, and starting the process all over again. If they can do that again, they're just going to eat up this clock. I guess I could have done that a while ago. I've had no other reason to go to the scoreboard to change the quarter. Now that we're in the deep into the fourth. But be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And join us on Saturday at 6 p.m. for the selection show and my 5 picks for week 10 of the Circa Millions contest. As I said earlier, my current lineup as it stands is Arizona plus 6.5, Houston plus 1.5, and I've been talking about that earlier. The Giants plus 4.5. That's very dependent on injury news. We're watching the Giants secondary for injury reports. Philadelphia plus 2.5, and the Los Angeles Rams minus 4.5. I've been to that stadium. I've been to both of those. I've been to all three. Well, actually, the Pepsi Center, Ball Metal Center, whatever it's called now. I went to that one for a Nuggets game and an Avalanche game, and I also went to the Broncos game all at the same time when I was there in December. It was a Monday night game. It was actually the year the Broncos won the Super Bowl, but Peyton Manning wasn't playing. It was actually Brock Osweiler, and it was Monday night game. They beat the Bengals in overtime, and that clinched the playoff spot for them. And they went on to win the Super Bowl that year. But I never got to see Peyton Manning play live. It was Brock Osweiler that year for the Broncos at that time. If you remember, he actually won the last few games in the regular season, and Peyton came back from injury in the playoffs. Third down. I mean, the Raiders aren't out of this yet. They've got them in a third and short, but if they can somehow stop them here, they're going to get the ball back. 3rd and 1. I have no faith in the Raiders' offense, but they can at least give them another shot if they can shut them down here. Max Crosby needs to do something amazing here. I mean, I expect them to run some kind of maybe a bootleg with Nix. Who knows? Yep, there it is. Bootleg. And there's Max Crosby. Oh, and a great catch by Franklin. All right, so we got our Franklin 5. But we're probably not going to get the second touchdown by Nix because there's only 3 minutes in this game. Of course, it would be poetic for them to go down and score a touchdown here to not only get us the win for the parlay, but also cover the spread. I don't really know if they're going to throw the ball too much more, though. It's only 3 minutes in the game. Crosby just missed nicking that ball. Just missed it. Offsides on Crosby. I mean, I can understand why he's trying to make a play here. He was right on it, man. I mean, I don't know about that. I think he was moving forward as the ball was being snapped. He wasn't really in the neutral zone yet. No, he's going to be short. I mean, do the Broncos even score here, or they're just looking to run out the clock at this point? This would be a good time to call play action pass, though. They didn't get it. It's 3rd down now. So do the Broncos run it on 3rd and short, or do they call some kind of a play action? Knowing that they could either kick a field goal or go for it on 4th down. Sean Payton's been known to roll the dice, man. He'll throw it in this situation. And I think if they do, they might catch the Raiders off guard, and this could be a touchdown throw. They got the jumbo package out there. And Bo Nix. QB sneak, and he's got the 1st down. pretty much does it. Because they're not going to throw the ball. So we're going to lose this with the Bo Nix 2 touchdown passes. Man, I can't believe they only scored 1 touchdown in this entire game. 1 touchdown for the Broncos and 1 touchdown for the Raiders. So many big plays. I mean, this was the Trey Tucker touchdown. Blocked punt. I mean, you get the ball at the 15 and you can't move it into the end zone. Missed field goal by the Raiders. One touchdown negated by a penalty. I mean, we wouldn't have got the R.J. Harvey touchdown anyway, but man. Of course, it changes the dynamic of the game if the Raiders score that touchdown. That's game. That's game. They're going to just run out the clock now. First down, no timeouts for the Raiders. All right. So we're going to end this stream with no winners again. It sucks. Broncos are going to win this game 10-7. Thank you to anyone who joined me during the live stream. And again, we'll be live on Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific for the Circa selections and my 5 picks for Week 10 of the Circa Millions contest. To everyone out there, I hope you cashed some bets. I hope you had something that wasn't on the sides I was on. And good luck to everybody this weekend. See you Saturday.